There is a man I know, his name is Robert. At 62, Robert retired with a net worth of $3.2 million, enough to place him in the top 10% of retirees. The house is paid off $2 million, invested, and about $150,000 a year coming from withdrawals and Social Security. On paper, Robert is elite. Everyone admires him. But the uncomfortable truth is that Robert is miserable. He checks his portfolio every day. A 5% market drop sends him into panic. He constantly fears running out of money, even though the numbers show he is secure for another 50 years. He turns down trips with his grandchildren because of the worry, what if the market crashes? Robert spends his retirement in tension, always comparing himself to friends with $5 million or more. Robert didn't really retire. He just stopped going to work, while his mind never stopped. Now meet Linda. Same age. Net worth of $850,000, top 25%, but nowhere near the top 10. She lives on about $60,000 a year from Social Security and modest withdrawals. And Linda is enjoying life. She travels, volunteers, laughs with family. Not obsessed with numbers, not constantly comparing. She understands exactly what enough means, clear spending, some margin, and peace of mind. Linda retired happy. Robert retired wealthy on paper, but poor in spirit. And I'm Victor. I run a business, and I've sat in rooms with accountants and tax attorneys managing 8-figure portfolios for quietly wealthy people. And I've seen this pattern repeat again and again. Being in the top percent doesn't guarantee happiness. Ranking is a trap. The retirement race isn't about finishing first. It's about finishing with calm. Most people chase the top 1% of wealth, which means assets of $21.7 million or more. The exception is those who know how to stop at the word enough. And in the end, they live free. Think of retirement like a treadmill with infinite speed settings. Most people set it to top 1%. They run faster, sweat more, and somehow still never feel like it's enough. But the exception group is different. They set it to a reasonable enough level. They step off, and finally, they get to enjoy the scenery around them. Today, I'll break down the real percentile data, why chasing the top 1% is mostly just a fear-spreading game, and the 3 steps to becoming the exception, someone who retires with calm, not just wealthy on paper. The retirement percentile frenzy that everyone sees on the internet. It's a con wrapped in fear. Gurus, influencers, even some financial advisors love throwing out shiny numbers. Want to be in the top 1%, you need $21.7 million. Top 10%, at least $2.9 million. Why do these numbers spread so aggressively online? Because when you're panicking about not being in the top 10%, you'll buy their $997 retirement acceleration course. When you're convinced that $4 million still means eating cat food at 80, you'll subscribe to the newsletter, watch every video, keep grinding, keep clicking ads. The whole machine makes money when you're anxious, and you keep chasing. A financial advisor charges a percentage on assets under management. $1 million is $10,000 a year. $10 million is $100,000 a year. The bigger your number, the more money they pocket. Gurus make views, affiliate commissions videos, like how to hit $10 million before retirement. The system is literally designed to keep you running forever on the percentile treadmill. Because the moment you step off and say enough, their revenue drops. Now look at the real data. No exaggeration, no selectively chosen stories. But actual surveys from the U.S. Federal Reserve and EBRI, covering thousands of households. Here's what the data shows. The median retirement income for the 65 to 69 age group is about $50,000 per year, coming from Social Security pensions and investment withdrawals. That's the average. The top 25% by net worth, including home value ranges from roughly $395,000 to $1.16 million. The top 10% is above $2.9 million. The top 1% is above $21.7 million. Now read this carefully. 86% of seniors with only $50,000 to $100,000 in savings say they are living comfortably and satisfied with their retirement lives. That's not top percent. That's an enough mindset, plus realistic expectations. For couples, average Social Security of about $48,000 per year can cover most basic needs if spending is managed well. This is not the exception. This is the majority people who stopped chasing and started living. The bitter part is this: the industry pushes the "you need top 1% message because it keeps you consuming content, paying fees, buying tools. The truly wealthy, the quiet ones I've sat with, usually stop at enough, often somewhere between $1 and $5 million. They live very ordinary lives, no private jets every weekend, no need for 5 houses, just a comfortable home, travel when they want and time with family, reasonable spending. And they're consistently happy. Percentiles become a distraction, a shiny trap, designed to keep you anxious. So why does the majority still chase it? Because comparison steals joy. You see a friend post on LinkedIn bragging about a $3 million net worth, and suddenly you feel behind. The hedonic treadmill kicks in. You adapt to luxury so fast that $15,000 a month starts to feel not enough to spend when others show off $25,000. Your brain automatically raises the spending baseline. It needs more just to feel the same. The result, you work endlessly. You retire stressed like Robert, 70 years old still checking accounts while your grandchildren grow up without you being there. The exception group lives differently. They don't treat percentiles as a standard of living. They focus on peace in their real lives, no rankings, no showing off. The same net worth on paper, but a completely different experience. $2 million can feel poor if you compare yourself to the top 1%. Or it can feel abundant if you live below your means. The difference isn't in the number, it's in the mindset. And this is the most important part. When you step off the treadmill compound, interest starts working harder for you. You save more because lifestyle inflation stops. You invest more calmly because you're not panicking over percentiles. And you live richer not in dollars, but in time and peace. This race isn't about finishing first. It's about finishing in freedom. Let me contrast 2 people I know, both retired at 65. On paper, both are considered successful, and both worked hard their entire lives. But their retirement lives are worlds apart. First is James. James hit the top 5%, about $4.5 million in net worth at retirement. A large house in a gated community, a luxury SUV parked out front, 2 international trips a year, a golf club membership. The full package. On LinkedIn and at family gatherings, James looks like the model of success. People often say James made it. He's set for life. But what you don't see is that James is miserable. He checks his portfolio multiple times a day in the morning, at lunch, before bed. Every 5% market drop sends him into a spiral of anxiety. What if it's like 2008 again, he says. He skips visits with his grandchildren because he worries, what if the market crashes and I need the money? He turns down a dream trip to Italy with his wife because of market volatility. James retired wealthy on paper, but lives poor in spirit. Stress devours his joy. He isn't living in retirement, he's just monitoring it, always comparing himself to friends with $10 million or more. He has money, but he never had peace. Now meet Maria. Maria retired the same year at the same age. She's in the top 25%, about $1.1 million in net worth. A modest paid-off home in a good neighborhood, a reliable car bought in 2018, and fully paid for simple domestic trips, the occasional meal out. On paper, her assets look unremarkable. Some people even whisper, Mariah could have done better. But Maria lives a deeply fulfilled life. She defined her enough to live fully number early. About $80,000 a year is enough for everything she truly wants: time, with family volunteering at the local library, short weekend trips to the beach, helping her grandchildren with small things. She isn't obsessed with percentile numbers. No need to check accounts every day. When the market drops, she smiles and says, "That's why I don't have to live in anxiety." She enjoys nearby outings, meets friends, dances with her grandchildren. Maria retired in calm, Lower in dollars on paper, but 3 times happier in real life. The gap between James and Maria isn't money. It's psychology. James lives with what behavioral economics calls a scarcity mindset. Despite having millions of dollars, he still feels not enough. Comparison triggers the hedonic treadmill. He adapts to luxury so quickly that $150,000 a year starts to feel not enough to cover life when standing next to friends worth $10 million. His brain constantly raises the bar whenever he sees someone more glamorous. What's the result? He keeps working nonstop even after retiring. Stress grows faster than his portfolio. Maria is different. She chose an abundance mindset. Margin plus, enough equals peace. She doesn't compare. She calibrates her life to her own reality, her real needs and desires. Her brain has room for joy, not threats. Behavioral finance calls this phenomenon tunneling. A scarcity mindset narrows focus to immediate risk and reduces long-term happiness. James is stuck in the tunnel of percentile numbers and the fear of what if the market crashes. Every dip feels like a disaster. Maria has enough space to see the bigger picture, family experiences presence. Here's the paradox. James earned the badge of the top 5% wealthy, but never enjoyed it. Maria is in the top 25% and lives richer. Not because she has more money, but because she let go of the numbers. She optimized for experience, not rank. For James, numbers robbed him of the time to focus on life. Same retirement age. 2 completely different endings. Percentiles don't decide happiness. Mindset does. Now actually run the numbers with these percentiles. Not the inflated figures that gurus like to throw around, but what they truly mean for your monthly life. We'll use the 4% safe withdrawal rate, the classic rule designed to last more than 30 years, and the average Social Security benefit for a married couple, about $48,000 per year combined. Start with the top 25%, about $1 million in total net worth, including home value. Assume that after subtracting the house, about $600,000 remains as liquid investable assets. 4% of that is roughly $24,000 per year. Add $48,000 from Social Security, and you're at about $72,000 per year. For most people, this is comfortable housing, food, healthcare, moderate travel, occasional dining out. Not luxurious, but not worrying about basic needs. Now, the top 10%, net worth of $2.9 million or more. Liquid investable assets might be around $1.8 to $2 million after excluding the home. A 4% withdrawal means roughly $72,000 to $80,000 per year from the portfolio. Add Social Security, and you're at about $120,000 to $128,000 per year. This is very comfortable, a nicer home, international travel, helping children or grandchildren, pursuing hobbies without counting every dollar. What about the top 1% net worth above $21.7 million? Liquid portfolios easily reach $15 million or more. 4% of that is about $600,000 per year from investments alone. Add Social Security and total income exceeds $650,000 per year. That's enormous money, private planes, multiple homes, large-scale philanthropy. But here's what almost no one tells you, even at the top. 1% most people don't actually spend all that money. According to real surveys of the ultra-wealthy spending, often plateaus around $25,000 to $30,000 per month, roughly $300,000 to $360,000 per year. The remaining millions just sit there continuing to compound, parked in trusts, unused. The treadmill stops long before the 21.7 million mark. Now for the real twist, the part that flips the entire story. 86% of seniors with only $50,000 to $100,000 in savings say they are living comfortably and satisfied with retirement. This is Federal Reserve data. So how can that be true when gurus keep shouting that you need millions of dollars? Because they manage expectations. They align lifestyle with resources. Social Security covers basic needs. About $48,000 per year for a married couple goes a very long way in low-cost areas. They don't compare themselves to the top 1%. They accept an ordinary life, and this is where the exception group shows up. People who retire in calm instead of stress do four things very differently. Taken together, they create a 3 to 5 times multiplier on real quality of life. First, low fixed costs. Housing, vehicles, insurance subscriptions kept under 50 to 60% of income. That alone creates a 20 to 30% savings rate. They don't let lifestyle inflation consume every raise. With each promotion, at least half of the incremental increase goes into investing. The result is that they build $2 to $5 million portfolios without needing a millionaire salary. Second, tax efficiency. Prioritize Roth, reduce tax friction. They aggressively fund Roth accounts in their 30s and 40s. Later, withdrawals are tax-free. The same $1 million in Roth can feel like 1.3 to 1.4 million compared to a traditional after-tax account. A small change, but the long-term difference is enormous. Third, behavioral control. No panic selling. Everything is automated. They set allocation, rebalance once a year, and ignore daily noise. When the market drops 30%, they don't sell. If anything, they buy more. They don't let emotions override the machine. Fourth, flexibility. They keep 6 to 12 months of cash. They're ready to temporarily cut spending by 10 to 20% in bad years. They delay Social Security to get a larger benefit. They work part-time if needed. They don't become forced sellers. They adapt instead of freezing. Most people fail because they do the exact opposite. Lifestyle inflation bloats, fixed costs heavier and heavier. Comparison fuels the chase. They rely too much on their home or Social Security. They don't build buffers for market crashes. What's the result? Even $8 million if structured wrong can feel poor. But $4 million if structured right can feel abundant. So, why do most people keep failing? Because fear. Fear of percentile rank keeps them running forever. They look at the top 1% and think, that's what safety looks like. But safety isn't a number. It's a mindset. It's truly knowing what enough is. This race is designed for most to lose. The exception group, they don't run faster. They run a different race, low costs, and enough mindset. The compounding of freedom. Read this again. Percentiles are just a distraction. Enough is freedom. And for me, this isn't theory. I've watched my own portfolio go through multiple crashes, 2008, 2020, and the smaller corrections in between. I've seen friends chase rank constantly, moving the goalposts. I need 5 million, then 7, then 10, and what do they regret? The years lost, the family moments missed, health worn down, dreams deferred. Meanwhile, the quietly wealthy people I know retired at 58 or 60 and never looked back. Same markets, same math, different mindset, different ending. The data from Federal Reserve surveys doesn't surprise me at all. I see it play out in real life, in the rooms I sit in, with real people and real money. Percentiles don't equal joy. Percentiles are just a distraction, sold by people who profit from your anxiety. Enough creates joy. Enough is freedom. So here are 3 very concrete takeaways. Don't just nod along. Actually do them this week. First, define your spending cost by working backward from your real desired spending, not forward from fear or hype. Sit down tonight. Write out your ideal monthly spending. Even generously, $8,000, $10,000, or $15,000 a month. Subtract Social Security. For a married couple, that's about $48,000 per year. Add a realistic effective tax rate of about 30% on withdrawals. Then use the 4% safe withdrawal rate to cover the gap. Most people will land between $2 and $5 million for a very comfortable life. Don't let gurus sell you the top 1% story as if it's the minimum. That's their business model, not your reality. Second, build margin first and protect it like oxygen. Automate at least 20% of after-tax income into investments before you ever see the money. Fight lifestyle inflation relentlessly. When you get a raise route, 50% or more straight into savings or debt payoff. Build a 6 to 12-month cash buffer so you never become a forced seller when markets crash. And when markets drop 20 or 30%, Remember, this volatility is the price of long-term returns. It's not the end of the world. Stay invested, let compounding do its job. Third, let go of comparison and turn this into an annual ritual. Every January, ask yourself, did this upgrade actually buy more joy? Or was it just hedonic adaptation? Stay flexible. Downsize if needed. Consider part-time work during early retirement. Delay claiming Social Security to get a larger benefit if it fits your plan. Focus on experiences instead of rank. Ignore the hype machine. Design a life that fits your real resources and values, not someone else's highlight reel. And here is the quiet truth. Lazy investing has created more real wealth than any crypto meme ever did. Boring index funds, automatic contributions, and enough mindset. Decades of compounding. That's how the quietly wealthy did it. Not flashy, not complicated. Just math margin and the discipline to stop when enough is enough. The system makes money when you chase percentiles forever. The way you flip it off, define enough, build margin, and live. So here's the question for you right now. What is your enough number? Not the fear-mongering top 1% numbers. The real one based on the life you actually want to live. Leave it in the comments below. I read every single one, and we learn from each other. If this video helped you see the percentile trap and gave you permission to stop chasing hit-like, it tells the algorithm this content should reach more people who are still stuck on the treadmill. Retirement isn't about finishing in the top percentiles. It's about finishing in freedom. Calm, present, and with enough to live the life you truly want. Go define your number today. This race is designed for most people to lose, but you don't have to run it. You can run a different race. See you in the next video.